Good evening. You may be seated. My name is Will Bradley, and on behalf of the 754 members of the class of 2018, it is my privilege to welcome everyone, parents, South Forsyth faculty, staff, special guests, Forsyth County School Superintendent Bearden, to South Forsyth's graduation ceremony for the class of 2018. As the 2017-2018 senior class president, I want to personally thank you for being here tonight as we celebrate the successes and stories of accomplishments within our class. For us as graduates, the month of May has been spent celebrating our completion of high school. But I thought it might be fun if we began our ceremony tonight by traveling back in time in the Wayback Machine, back to the year 2000, the dawn of the new millennium, when all of us were born or thereabout 18 years ago. The average price for a gallon of gas in the continental United States was hovering around $1.26 per gallon. A postage stamp, back when people still mailed letters, was just 33 cents. The use of mobile phones, which one article in the New York Times in 1999 called a quick fad, was expanding dramatically, and nearly 50% of all US adults ended up with a mobile phone by the end of May 2000. I also thought it might be fun to hear some predictions and skip forward another 18 years to the year 2036, when all of us will be around 36 or 37 years old. Quantum Run Forecasting, a data and research analytics firm that is founded to consult businesses on the future and its trends, has reported what they, in their professional opinion, expect the year 2036 to be like. Among their predictions, commercially available high-resolution bionic eyes, mind-to-mind communication devices that require nothing more than a simple thought. They predict a worldwide population in 2036 of almost 9 billion people. It is also a presidential election year, and in fact, it will be the first election cycle in which every senior in this room will finally be eligible to run for president. I am personally very excited about that fact. But while the novelty of the past and the specter of the future may be fun to talk about, the present reality is that every student in this room, all 754 of us, are about to take on our next chapter, whatever that may look like. For some of us, that means leaving behind our high school and transitioning into a university, which will likely be several times larger than the 3,000 and then some students of South Forsyth High School in our student body. For others in the room, that means transitioning into the workforce, perhaps into a career field of your dreams, but perhaps into a field that maybe you don't know much about yet. And for some of us in the room, this means enlisting in the armed services of these United States and making the monumental sacrifice to defend our country. No matter the plans we have after turning our tassels to the left tonight, there's a distinct level of uncertainty in all of us at this turning point. In fact, researchers at the Pew Research Center in Washington, D.C. recently studied the psychological impact of a student's 2-month or so transition out of high school and into something else entirely. In interviews with countless graduating seniors, Pew discovered that the three main words that come to mind over and over again in conversations with students were the following: uncertainty, unexpected, and unknown. I completely understand this, and I'm sure the parents and students in this room do too. But tonight, I want to instead focus on a certain and known word that you can add to this list as our next chapter begins. That word is influence. Your influence, whether it is intended or unintended, multiplies through every single interaction you have, and ultimately, you'll have lived life either influencing about 189 people in a positive way, or B, influencing about 189 people in a negative way. Allow me to explain. Anna Vitale, a journalist who visualizes the lives of people, companies, and ideas, and the founder of an information design startup called Audioma, became fascinated with this question: how big is life? In other words, how large of an impact can you make with the one single life you have? Since meeting Anna at a professional conference about a year ago and speaking with her at length on this topic, I've been fascinated with this idea. Her theory is that every human, no matter where in the world they are or what in the world they do, will have the opportunity to truly make an impact on an average of 189 people. Her rationale goes something like this: The average American lives to be 78.3 years old. So let's think about the meaningful relationships we'll build over the next 60 or so years. According to her research, most people will become close friends with about 25 work colleagues in the course of our careers. The research continues. Throughout a single person's lifetime, on average, they will get to meet at least 3 generations of offspring who come after them. This is an average number of 14 people. And using anthropology research, Anna predicts a person can maintain an additional 150 stable friendships over the course of their life. So from these areas, we get our 189 people. The 189 we have the opportunity to do life with, influence for the better, and leave a lasting impact. What's next in life is uncertain for all of us. We don't truly know what each day will hold. What happens may be, and usually is, unexpected, but your number, 189, is not unexpected. Be ready for it, and be ready to use it for a positive change and a positive impact. This principle of influence impacted me in my first time here at South Forsyth. On the first day of high school, when this chapter began, I was walking through the hallways, overwhelmed, trying to make it class to class in the 6 minutes we had for transition back then. We now have 4. And I felt something that felt like a paper airplane hitting my arm as I walked through the hallways. It happened to be a Thursday that day, and I thought, great, it's not even Freshman Friday, and I'm already getting things thrown at me. By the way, to the freshmen in the room, the rising freshmen in the room, Freshman Friday is not an actual thing, but in case you think it is, it's not. However, that piece of paper with a wrapped lollipop attached to it was thrown at me not by some school bully or not by some scary senior looking to get into the Freshman Friday fun a little early. Instead, it was thrown at me by someone from South Forsyth DECA. It was thrown at me by an officer, smile on his face. He recognized me and wanted me to join this strange-sounding organization. We struck up a conversation. I joined, I filled out the application, and the rest is history. From that moment, I learned that a whole lot hangs in the balance of even our smallest interactions. I've thought a lot about that small moment over the past couple months. If that DECA officer had not thrown candy at me and I hadn't had a conversation all about the amazing things they did in their organization, where would I be today? I certainly wouldn't have had the opportunity of a lifetime to serve over 12,000 Georgia students across the state this past year in DECA. I wouldn't have been able to advance professionally, and I certainly would not have been able to stand up on this stage delivering this speech to all of you. So my question and challenge for the class of 2018 as I leave you tonight is this: what will you do with your 189? How will you take your influence with you to your college campus, to your jobs, to your deployment, or to your extended family and friends, and make a difference in your next chapters? How will you choose to influence your 189? But once again, on behalf of the class of 2018, it is an honor to welcome you all tonight to tonight's ceremony, and now to introduce you to the woman I'm very proud to call my principal, Mrs. Laura Wilson.